Well,
Here,
good morning, everyone. I hope everyone's having a great day today. So, I have been in the nail industry for going on 8 years now. I've been an educator since 2020. And the reason I got started with Light Elegance was because I was started out at a salon. They had another product that was not working that great for me. So I ended up finding a lot of, like you guys are probably doing too, finding online videos of how to use products. And I ended up stumbling across Light Elegance and Selena Ryden. And so I basically ended up teaching myself through her videos how to do nails with elegance, fell in love with the product, and so glad that I did. We literally have the best products on the market. They're beautiful. We keep any al- ingredients that we know are allergenic out of our products, which is great. Keeps us safe, keeps our clients safe, which is part of what we're going to talk about today. And I just love them. We make everything in the U.S. and family-owned company, and you just really can't ask for more. It's a really great company to work with and use in my salon. So today I'm talking about my personal tips for salon service success. So today, the biggest thing that I want to talk about is organization. So organization is just so big in making sure that you are fast, efficient, which in the end always leads to us making more money, right? So the biggest thing about efficiency is, in my mind, is having your system the way that you like to do things and just putting that into practice. So, and keeping things simple. So, for example, I have everything that I know that I'm using every service right at each side of me. I have one drawer on either side of me here at my desk, top right, top left. Top right is all my files, it's my buffers, it's my bonders, top coats, and my sanding bands. And that's it. That's all I got over there. We're using that every service, right? And then to my left, which I'm not going to be grabbing with my hand as much, is my core gels. So any core gels I have on the left, and you're going to use those every service, right? Everything else, the colors, I don't mind if they're farther away. We don't know what we're going to do. That's okay. I have a numbering system for that where I can find those efficiently. But when we're talking about that, like every service getting these things done quickly, that's a big thing. Another thing is having your tools organized. So this is my little tool organizer that I have all my stuff in. And basically all I need is a few things. I need this brush, a dust brush. I need one file. This is my Lexi 180 100 grit file. My foamy, which is 180 280. My Light Elegance pusher, and 3 bits, which is mostly what I want to talk about because these are going to make you so fast. And using these for multiple things is great as well. So these are my 3 bits. So we got step 1, step 2, step 3. And this one gets used for multiple things. This one is the big takedown bit. So this is our speedy. This is what I use to take down color. So that's most of the time. We're not talking about every service, but I'm talking about like in general efficiency. We're going to be doing mostly fills, right, guys? So this guy is going to take your color off. You don't want to go too crazy with that because you don't want to spend too much time on that stuff. Just make sure you get most of your color off. Usually I end up having like a little bit of color around the edge, but I don't worry about it because I'm going to get it with this one when I get there. So you don't want to worry too much about that in this stuff. You just want to quickly get off as much color as you possibly can. And then don't do too much of this because that can cause problems. I'll talk about in a minute. So next step, once you do that, I would use the pusher to do that really quickly. You don't need to do a ton of work with this. It's just to like kind of get those cuticles loosened up a little bit, push them back just a tad so that we can get it ready to use this diamond bit. And there are several different types of diamond bits that you can use, just like there are several different types of big removal bits that you can use. But these are just the ones that I use, every service. And I just use these three. What RPM do I use the Speedy? I usually use the Speedy about 15, maybe 17 tops, 1,000 RPMs. So, but going to the cuticle bit, this is our cutie patootie, and it's just a great one for the cuticle removal. So any kind of tissue, skin tissue that is on the nail plate that we want to remove, this is going to quickly and efficiently remove that. Like I said, there's a lot of different types, and you can get a lot of different ones and do a more involved manicure. But just for like efficiency and simplicity, having these three is really going to help you just keep everything kind of concise. You know what I'm saying? You could maybe there's much more involved manicures, like with dry manicure stuff and all that. But for generally speaking, if you want to be efficient and successful in your services, this is just my recommendation. So once we go through and use this on each bit, or I'm sorry, on each nail, then we're going to be prepping. So then I would go in with this sanding band on 4,000 RPMs and do all my prep, which would just be like the natural nail plate. I'm just going in with that at first. Have I ever tried? Oh, I'm sorry, I missed it. So I'm sorry, I don't know how to get to the chat. Maybe Elaine can help me.
Don't even worry about the chat. I'll deliver stuff as you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's popping up on my screen, so then I'm like, oh, I should answer. But anyway, it's better. Oh, okay.
We do a lot of talking in the chat, and sometimes I'll answer stuff in there to make it easy on you. So yeah, don't let it be a distraction and keep your brain on what you're doing. I'll take care of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So back to that sanding band. So we're getting ready to do prep, right? So I use this sanding band to do prep and go around just on the natural nail to prep this on 4,000 RPMs. So then they're probably going to need their nail length shortened, right? So I'm going to use this same one to shorten that length. And at the same time, smooth out any existing product that's left behind. So I'm going to use now I've used it for two things, right? The same sanding band, because important to remember too, on prep. So I take this one, I'll use the top half on one hand, flip it over so that it's fresh grit, and use that for the other hand for the prep. Because with our product, you definitely want to make sure that you have a good grit. So if you waited and you did 5 nails, right, with the top part, and you went straight to the other hand without flipping it over, you're not going to have a fresh grit on there. It's going to be like less of a grit at that point. So it's not going to give you as much grit on the natural nail that you actually want. So I'll say, as I can't pull it off, but I'll flip it over and then do the other hand. And then when I get done with that, I will go through and shorten all the nails and, like I say, smooth out any residual top product. So that all happens in like one step, basically. I'm not switching any bits in between there. It's just once I go to the sanding band, I'm probably not switching back to any of these other ones at that point. So once you go through, do all of that, the smoothing the top product is going to help you with the application. So that, like, if you left it all bumpy, it'd be harder to make your new application nice and super smooth on the first try. But if you just go around real quick with that sanding band and just, I'd probably do that at about 5,000 RPMs, just up it just a little bit. So you got like a little bit more, it's not going to like die out on you like 4,000 RPMs will. And so you're not going to be hitting nail plates. So you don't really care about that. You just want to hit that gel and smooth it out. That's going to help you with your new application, which is going to save you time as well, because it's going to be much smoother. You're probably not even going to have to do any finish filing. But if you do, I still use this same bit to do my finish filing. So by that time, this bit is probably like, it's probably getting close to like 200 or maybe even like 220 at that point grit. So it's much smoother. So when I get to like all my applications done and I got to do a little finish filing maybe or whatever, I can take this again, which I haven't switched it from my e-file, right? And just go ahead and finish smoothing out like just a little bit on a low speed, like say like 5,000 RPMs. It's like buffing it. And I just go and do that on each nail. We could do a whole class on this, but just go ahead and do that on each nail. And then I'll go back with the foamy and finish it up so that the edges are nice and smooth with that foamy. And this, don't skip this step, guys. Like this foamy, don't skip it because those edges, like even if I finish file with this, sometimes like you know how on the edges of the nails there might be like a little bit of a bumpy, whatever. And like when you go to apply your color, it's not like this nice smooth line. Well, if you hit it with this foamy, I'm telling you, it's gonna be so much better. And it just takes a second. It's not gonna spend, you're not gonna spend a bunch of time doing that. So really the moral of the story here is be organized. I have all this in here. Keep it simple, you know, 3 bits. Do everything with those. Another thing I'm going to talk about in a minute with those 3 bits and having sets of them is also going to save us a lot of time. But just simple things like this, like having something that you have everything organized for that client when they come in. You got it sitting there waiting for them. Everyone loves that. You know, it's on that professionalism, you know, thing where if you're organized and ready when they arrive, they're going to feel appreciated. They're going to love that. They want to know that you know what you're doing. They want to see that you're being safe and that you look professional. You're a master of your system, which all these things just end up making your life easier. If you're using one system, that's another thing that's going to make you successful in your services. Because if any of you guys have been in the industry for any amount of time, which I'm sure you have, if you start mixing different brands, you can run into so many problems. And it just ends up being this whole cluster that you're, you know, in my mind, I don't have the time to be sitting around like, you know, trying this product with this, trying this product with that, seeing if this works with that before I use it on a client, even, you know. And I don't personally want to have people coming back asking me, like, why didn't this work? Why didn't that work? Now I need a repair. You know, that's all money out the door. So, you know, like not in your pocket. So I don't prescribe to any of that stuff because of that fact. I don't want to have a client have a problem. I want to know that when I put that gel on, that it's going to last for 3+ weeks. I don't want to have to worry about anything else. So that's why I use one brand. Now I do use a couple of things here and there that are not Light Elegance, but it's not really much. And they're only for specific things. And I practice with them and I know that they're going to work. But generally speaking, I want all LE. I want my lamps to be LE. I want my zippy. I want my files. I want just like my bonders. I want everything to be LE because, like I say, all these things make you look professional, which to your clients makes you look more success, you know, like that you know what you're doing. And also, it makes your life easier, like I say, because of the fact that you aren't going to have any problems because you know that those products are going to work together. You know that Lexi line is going to go over tech and it's going to be fine with buttercream and you're not going to have any chipping. It's going to be a wonderful experience for everyone. And you can just learn these things and it's just that one brand. Every brand has a different way that they do different things and how their things are formulated. And for me personally, that's just too much information for my brain to be handling all the time. So makes my life easier and reduces my anxiety because I definitely have anxiety. And now that I have my salon that I've built with all my organized stuff and I know where everything is and I can find things fast, makes my life so much happier and less stressed. You know what I mean? Because, like I say, all these things, organization and efficiency, they all run together. So if you have all of these things in place, like your systems, how you like to do things, what clients need, if you keep those tools simple that you have for every client, you could have that stuff ready to go before they're even in the door. Just stuff like that is going to make your life so much easier, so much simpler. It's a great thing. So the next thing I want to get into a little bit is hygiene and safety, which is like I was talking about earlier with the bits and having your sets of things. So washing things, you know what I mean? Washing, disinfection, that takes time. So don't really want to spend time on that either. Like if we don't have to during the day, right? Because we're trying to get people in and out. We're trying to get them, in and out as fast as possible with also doing a proper service. So one of the things is with that is that I do personally is I have my sets. So for me, 6 sets works for me. I have 6 sets of takedown bits. I have or speedies. I have 6, which what I'm saying, the takedown, whatever takedown bit you use, but mine's a speedy. And then the diamond bits, which is a cutie patootie, and then 6 sets of the mandrels. So then when I'm done with that, like my clients will see me, they'll see me put all my dirty stuff in here and it's sitting out where they can see it. And they know that I'm going to wash that stuff. And I'm sorry, I have also a set of these. So I throw those in there as well. Any of the tools, I have sets of those. So then I can throw those in efficiently. When I'm done, I dump their tray and I'm on to the next person. And so it makes it very simple, easy, fast, and they can see that I'm cleaning everything, which they appreciate. I'm sure you guys like to see that things are clean and like that things are being cleaned when you go somewhere. So to your clients, they love that. And so that just makes, it makes those like transitions between clients a little bit faster, a little bit easier. And then you don't really have to worry about that stuff till, the end of the day where you're trying to get everything cleaned up and go home. Like, maybe you start your stuff soaking in your detergent and then like you come back and clean everything at one time, disinfect everything at one time, put everything out to dry. And then in the morning, you got all your stuff to dry. And this is just where I'm at. Now, make sure you know your states, countries, provinces, wherever you are. I'm sorry, wherever you are, make sure that you know your laws and requirements on that kind of stuff for cleaning and disinfection and all that. Because it could be different where you are. But just in general, I think having sets of things so that you can efficiently move from client to client is a really great thing to do.
I have a good question in the chat for you as it relates to what you just said. Autumn Lane Beauty says, do you use one file per client or do you sell files to clients and keep it for them as the LE files don't go blunt after 2 or 3 uses?
Personally, I keep them in their own tray, which I disinfect in between, but I only keep them for 2 uses.
What about hand files, not just the bits? For your hand files, do you label them for your clients or do you give it to them at the end of the service or do you throw it away?
Yeah, I have these trays.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own name, has their own tray.
Oh,
So
neat.
if I'm going to keep a file for them, that's the only thing I would keep for a client
Yeah.
is a file.
Yeah.
And I would disinfect these when I got done with the service. And then I would put it in their tray. And all the other stuff's going to get clean and disinfected like after the service. And I would only keep this twice. I'm telling you, like, even a lot of times I throw these away in one service, depending on what I'm doing. If they have longer nails or something like that, especially, I would throw this away. But if they have like really short nails and I hardly use it, I will disinfect it and keep it for them. But if they have longer ones, I wouldn't recommend using it more than once because you're going to end up hurting your wrist because it's going to be too much strain on your wrist when you're doing the reshaping of the nail.
Katie, you sparked another question because it relates. How do you disinfect it and can you soak it in barbicide?
The files?
Yeah, the hand file you just showed that you said you disinfect.
Yeah, for disinfecting these, I just spray them with cleanser because this is their file. I'm not using this on anyone else.
Exactly. She's not cross-contaminating, Katie.
Right. So if there happen to be any bacteria or anything on there, we're
Yeah.
going to handle that. Like if there was, I mean, just for example, say somebody had an infection or something and you were like worried about that, I just throw the file away. Just don't even mess with it. You know,
Very
I know
good
that I
advice.
know the Light Elegance files are a little bit more pricey, and maybe that's what they're thinking, that they don't want to just use them one time. But yeah, I'd say if you're like sketched out about it, I just throw away every time.
It is, it gets it's pretty costly that we are expected to only use one file per person. So it is
Right.
smart if you are able to keep them and label them for your clients and reuse. Thank
If
you.
you can. It may not be in your area, they may not allow that. I don't know. You have to check online and see about where you are and see if that's okay for you to do or not. I know
Which is another
I feel
good
like there's
point.
places that say you have to use a single use and that's it.
Yeah, follow your state board.
Like for example, like toes or something, I use disposable. I like don't keep those or go in the trash. I just use like little cheapy disposable ones for that. But for these ones, like you're trying to use to keep your wrists from being, injured over time. If I feel like I can use it again and I've got my clients like with their tray, I wouldn't recommend doing anything that's enclosed. Like if a plastic bag or something, I don't think that's a
Yeah,
good idea.
no, holds moisture. And Katie actually followed up with a good point too. Don't reuse the ones you use on their toes.
Yeah, no, no. I would say no to that. But like I say, always make sure you check your local laws because it could be different than what we're saying on here. So that's fine where I am, and I live in Indiana. So, but I don't know, like I say, about your area. But do we have any more questions or you want me to do a little bit more with us?
No, you can
Going?
carry on. I'll hold them or I'll peek in when you have a spot.
Okay. So let's see. I was talking about, yeah, the hygiene and safety. Got through all that. Also, using a safe, like I talked about before, our system, the Light Elegance system, is super safe. It's a safe system of products that you can count on. And of course, like I work for Light Elegance, I know, but there's a reason for that. I would never use something that does not work for me, that I don't feel is safe. I feel very comfortable and safe in the hands of the McConnell family. They are the ones who make sure that all this stuff gets done properly and they use it themselves. So that's just so another thing with like having Light Elegance stuff, I have pretty much all my stuff in here is Light Elegance. It's all themed LE. So my salon is that kind of theme and it just makes your salon look a little bit professional and clean and stuff too. So that's helpful with, like I was talking about, like the professionalism and making clients feel like that you know what you're doing and you're an expert in your product and all those kinds of things. Which leads to more money, which is what we want, guys, right? So another thing with hygiene and safety is just look after yourself. Like we were talking about with the files and all of that. I don't use a whole lot of PPE besides my glasses, but I do have a dust collector that does really well for collecting all the dust. You definitely don't want to just be like having dust go in your lungs all the time, right? And equipment matters. Quick little story. So I had like a regular type hand rest for my clients and the one that's just, boxy, like a rectangle. And I was having so much trouble with them, like not relaxing. And it was killing my back, killing my shoulder. I had got like, what do they call it? Golfer's elbow. It's like on the inside of my elbow. I couldn't stretch my arm out for a while. That was a thing. I've had like lower back pain and that kind of stuff. But what has helped majorly is this. If you guys don't have one of these, get yourself one because this whole like thing to hold their arm so they're relaxed so that you can do your job. Oh my gosh. This thing, lifesaver. I mean, it wasn't like terribly expensive. I know sometimes it's hard when we're like, man, something's so expensive. Like, I would love to have it because I'm sure it would help my back, but I can't afford it. This one, at least, I mean, it was under $100. I don't remember how much it was, but I know it wasn't over $100. But there is a chair that I would love to get right now that has this really nice you guys might have heard of it. It's called New Chair. I would love to get that chair. It's like $700. So I get that. Like, it's hard sometimes. We got to save up for these things, but like, I want to save up for it. That is going to put longevity into my career. I have already had a lot of back problems, which I'm managing. And I've only been doing this for 8 years now, going on 8 years. So, I don't know how long you guys have been in the industry doing this stuff, but I'm sure you know. So we got to take care of ourselves. We got to do these things, save up for equipment that we really need so that we can keep doing our job, which we love, right? And in the long term, we're going to make more money because we're not going to have downtime for us to go to the chiropractor and, different stuff like that because we got a back emergency. That stuff's happened to me more times than it should have. So just investing in that, equipment and all that. Like I say, equipment matters. Make sure you guys get stuff that's comfortable for you. And another one of those things would be that e-file, like I was talking about earlier, with using that to do my finish filing and all that. I used to do that stuff by hand. Man, it was killing my wrists. I was dying with that kind of stuff, like doing all that hand filing, trying to finish file and just everything with the wrist. Once I got my sanding band stuff down with my e-file, it's much better. Like I haven't had any kind of issues with my hands, wrists since I've got all this equipment changed around and I've got my e-file, using that to do, like I say, finish filing and that kind of stuff and shortening the nail and stuff like that. Oh my gosh, doing that with a hand file, shortening a nail or something, like, no, thank you. I would rather not. So another thing, education. And if you really want to get into e-file, which would be a great thing, make sure you hit up Melanie Bosch. She's one of our educators. She is our e-file queen. She is the queen of Zippy. So if you have any questions about e-file and stuff like that, any of us can answer, of course. We all have our own opinions about things, but she is very good with her e-file and that's her thing. She loves e-file. And we also have a class that we teach e-file as well. So if you want to look into that, would be really good because that stuff's just going to save you just so much. So much. And in education, you're going to build more skills, get more techniques, that is going to help you, like I say, get more efficient, get tips from different people. Like these are just my tips. Everybody's got tips and I would love to hear everyone else's tips too, because things can be better than what I've come up with for sure. I'm always open to a new thing, but what's important is that you find what's good for you and using, trade shows and networking and education to talk to other people that are like us, that have experience and that you can bounce ideas off of and you can find out what's best for you so that you can keep doing your job and keep getting better and keep, becoming more efficient and getting those clients in and out without you breaking your body to pieces, kind of thing. So that, my dears, is all I have for the presentation. Like I say, definitely check out LEU 2.0. My code for this webinar is Claire 1029, which is today's date. So this will be good for 1 week. So you guys can use this to get 20% off your order, which includes education, includes anything on Light Elegance. So use this for sure, guys. Like this is a good one. And then my code for regular doesn't expire is Claire 15. That'll get you 15% off any other time. But for the week, it's 20% off with this code for being on the live webinar. So if you guys use this, if you want to get some education, if you haven't already started LEU or anything like that, definitely check it out. But I thank you guys for coming to the webinar today. I hope you guys have lots of questions so we can discuss more.
Claire, will you share your socials before we go to questions so it's in the video?
I sure will. My social is at Claire Pitts Nails. So if you want to check me out on Instagram, that's where I reside. I will answer any questions you guys have about anything. Hit me up anytime. I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys may have. But I thank you guys so much for joining us today. It's super awesome. I love talking about this stuff. So if
Me
anybody
too.
has any questions,
Yeah, if you have a
we
question over
can.
your mic and go ahead and ask Claire. They were very active in the chat. I'm gonna have to send it so you can see it. Oh, here's a question, and I can answer this. Is there a way to watch past power hours? When we first started doing this, we were sending a link to all of you, and we still do, that sign up for the Zoom. So if you come and attend live, or you've signed up and you can attend, you get the link within 48 hours to watch it. But now we're going right to YouTube. So benefit of Zoom, be here to ask questions. Otherwise, just, yeah, they'll be at Zoom, YouTube.
Oh, thank you, Katie. I just saw that comment. She said, "Oh my God, the orange soda on your page is gorgeous."
Oh,
Thank
I don't
you.
know. It looks like maybe anybody have any questions? I can't believe. I think maybe they got them out in the chat. There was a lot of like reactions to what you were saying more than
Mm.
questions. Good reactions. Oh, what grid sanding band are you using?
Oh, 180.
Okay. Is that font? That's the medium, right? 180. It depends on the brand. I
Yep.
never know. Okay. 180 is medium. Yeah. I
It
usually like
depends. You know what?
minus
I'll say
200.
Oh, I was gonna say about the sanding bands. I'm sure maybe everybody knows this, but like different brands and stuff, just like the files, you gotta check them and like see which ones are gonna like
Mhm.
hold grit because I've
Yeah.
gone through quite a lot of them, and now I can't even remember the brand I'm using right now because I got a big giant bulk bin of them after I was like, these are the best ones I've gotten. But yeah, definitely check though. Like just get a small box and try them out and see how they're doing before you go buy a big bag or something because they're not all created equal. That's for sure. I got a one batch. I had to just throw them away. I was like, these suck.
Mm.
They're
Gina would
terrible.
like to know if you've ever used a coarse sanding band, and if you have, what would you use it for?
I have not. For the way that I do the service, I don't need
Yeah,
it for anything.
yeah.
I because I'm using it for prep first, which it's on the 180 for the prep, which is all that I really need. And
I
then
I
as
can
I'm still,
I can say probably, Gina, the only time you're really going to need a course is for a really hard product, like a product that's hard to file. And sometimes like the acrylic mixed with gels, like they call them acrogels, or the ones in the tubes. Sometimes they're harder to file, like the surface of them is hard and they don't get grip. I wouldn't even use a course.
yeah, I think that would be, I would, if I was going to remove bulk or something, I would just
Yeah.
use the
But then you
speedy.
would use speedy. Yeah, exactly. And you wouldn't have heat. I feel
Right.
like a coarse band gives more heat on the nail.
Yeah. I
Um,
feel like almost, I'm thinking in my mind,
yeah.
like that you would be like maybe if you were more like a beginner and you hadn't learned how to use like the big takedown bits and stuff like that yet, and you were a little
Mhm.
scared, maybe you'd use a coarse one to try to remove color and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
other than that, I wouldn't use it for anything. I don't.
I love this next one. Janice, this is off subject, but I would love to know about the pedicures that are listed behind you. See, I said your signs would come in. Can you tell Janice a little bit about your pedicures?
I sure can. So the minimalist is just gel toes. So basically, I just like a gel nail service. I just do their dry prep and everything and do gel polish and put cuticle oil on them. And that's it. I don't do any massage, any of that stuff. The step up is that plus we soak their feet. I do some cuticle, hard skin softening, exfoliation, and massage. And then the step out would be all of that plus I do a hot towel mask with our bamboo polish. I mask up their legs and wrap them up in hot towels, and they get a longer, more luxurious massage. So that's
How long
basically
does it take you to do each of those? Because I know that'll be the next question.
the minimalist takes about 45 minutes. The step up, usually about an hour and 15. And then the step out's usually about an hour and 30, 40 minutes. It's pretty lengthy. Because we go
Masks.
through everything. We go through
Mhm.
the gel toes, we do the soak in, the exfoliation, like, you know, the hot mat or the mask with the hot towels and all that stuff. It takes quite a while. And I do like a much longer massage for them as well.
They're communicating, comparing, they feel they're undercharging. You're educating them now, they're all thinking they're undercharging. It's such an
Well,
important
I
thing
feel
what
like
you
we
taught.
are, guys. I feel
Yeah.
like we are. If you feel like you're undercharging, evaluate how much you're spending on stuff and, how much time are you spending and like what do you think is fair? You know what I mean? Like for example, lash people and people that do hair and stuff like that, they get paid much more than us per hour. So if you're doing like, a nice luxurious service, it's taking a certain amount of time.
Mhm.
Like I actually feel like personally, I'm not charging enough because I'm out in the country and I just have my clients and I'm not really trying to like, you know, charge them tons and tons of money. But if I wasn't working for myself, I would definitely be charging more for these services. For sure. Like,
Mhm.
the only reason why I keep them this low is because I know, like, economy right now, and I have my certain clients, and they're still coming, so I'm happy about that. I'm still getting income. I'm not losing any money on my services or anything right now. But like I say, I'm also a one woman show working out of my home. I get a lot of benefits because of that because I'm working at home. So I get, money off my bills and stuff like that for taxes. So these kind of things help me be able to charge less. You know what I mean? But if you are paying like full price for products, you're at a salon space. You know what I mean? All these things are going
Mhm.
to add up to much more money per service for you than they are for me. So definitely evaluate your costs for where you are and what kind of situation you're working in because and if you are in a salon somewhere that you're having rent and all this stuff, you better be charging this much. You
Yeah.
better be. You just better
Katie
be.
actually said, I'm always scared I'm going to charge too much, which I think everybody is always scared of, but it comes from a place of not realizing. It almost takes like having a little ego and knowing your
Yeah.
worth. And then Jessica Ramos is in here. I want y'all to know she is an educator in case you don't know her. And she did offer that she has created a pricing calculator to figure out the proper prices for your services. I know we've talked about this a few times, Jess and I, and she's done some business power hours as well. And yeah, just like what you were saying, it's important to figure out your cost, not per service based on just your products, but your rent, your electricity,
Mhm.
all of your costs.
Absolutely.
Can I jump in on this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. I've been doing nails for 31 years.
Woo!
You are worth every single penny. Don't ever be afraid to raise your prices.
Amen.
If you're educated by Light Elegance and you're using a quality product like Light Elegance, I am total Light Elegance from acrylic, soft gel, hard gel. And
Mhm.
I've been doing it a long time. They will sit in your chair and never worry about the person down the street being cheaper than you because you're going to prove to them and walk them through why you're doing what you're doing and why you're prepping them the way you're prepping them. And I've had people say, oh, the other person doesn't do that. Well, no. And I'm going to tell you why. And I'm going to tell you why I'm going to do it. And I explain why I do it and why it's important to have perfect prepping and perfect application because their
Mhm.
nails going to last the whole length of the time that they're gone until they come back and again in my chair. Do they call because they have a break? No. Do they call because they have lifting? No. You know why? Because I'm doing everything the way I'm supposed to do it. So don't be ever afraid to raise your prices. I'm worth every
Yes,
single
ma'am. Well said.
penny, and so are you other gals. You stick with Light Elegance and their whole educational program. It is already going to set you apart from the person down the street. Period. Thank you.
Love it.
100%.
Thank you
Well
for
said.
sharing, Marcia, and your
Yes.
words of wisdom. Somebody who's done it knows at 31 years.
Absolutely. She was so just what I was talking about, being master of your brand, master
She
of,
and I
you know,
started in the same year.
Also, I did do a birth date, like the owners say to on your LED unit. My birth date
yes, and service
was
date.
2 years and I use it 40 hours a week. And then I bought the new one this year. So that would give you some idea. And I use it a lot. Like 90% of my clients are soft and hard gel. I have very few acrylic people left, but I still use it. And I use Light Elegance acrylic line. If anybody ever wants to know, it's a superior line. And the other thing is a birth date on the Speedy, the one that takes down, the gel off the nail. 90% of my clients have gel on top of their foundation, whether it's acrylic, soft gel, hard gel. And if I get like maybe 5-6 weeks max, and you better change it out because it's going to get dull. Once it gets dull, then you do not want to turn up the RPMs, and B, it's going to take longer for you to take that product off. And then you're going to cause burning to the client. I'm just saying, if you have put the little birth date on the little sleeve that it comes in, go ahead and do that. And then when you get the new one, you immediately throw out the other one. Don't keep it. Throw it in the garbage. And then put that new one. And of course, Claire's great that she has multiple ones because it's not too cheap to purchase that. But eventually, every time you place an order, go ahead and order one and be like Claire, you'll have one these built up where they're not all burning out at the same time. And then she'll have 6 or 7 sets, knowing that's how many clients that she's doing a day.
Right. And
Hopefully
actually,
that's helpful.
absolutely. Yeah, that's awesome. And just like building on that with the sets, I had those 6 sets. And of course, it is going to be more money for you to buy those 6 sets. You never have to buy that mandrel again, but you are going to have to rebuy your takedown bits and your diamond bits. That's going to last you a lot longer. Like she just said, one Speedy's going to last you about 6 weeks. Well, if you've got 6 of them, you're going to be multiplying that time that you're going to use those 6 bits over, because you're not going to be using that same bit on every single client. So it kind of seems like that you're going to spend a bunch of money, and I understand that, like, it is harder to be like, oh, make this big order. But a lot of times you can, if you plan for things, you can get like 20% off, like tip. Black Friday is coming up for Light Elegance. So we always do 20% off. Or also my code that we had today, Claire 1029. But when you do stuff like that, ends up saving you money in the long run. And you will be able to tell when those bits start going dull, and they'll all start going dull about the same time. Because if you use each one, you go through all of your bits and then wash, you know that you're going to use all the bits again. So it's going to keep the use of each one of them pretty even. So to when you start feeling like they're starting to go dull, you're like, time for a new set, and I might actually buy 2 sets. I actually have a set right now in the back, because I bought it when it was 20% off. So if you can, you know what I mean? Like, do those kinds of things. It's like buying in bulk a little bit. But if you have those bits set that you use every time, it makes it easy for you to go ahead and buy like 6 of these ones that I need, 6 or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? Like however many you want to buy. And then have those ready for when they do go dull, switch it out. And then you're like you're watching for the next 20% off. Oh, 20% off. I'm getting all my bits again, and then you've got them ready for when those next ones go dull. That's just how I do it. But that helps save a little bit as well, because you are buying in bulk. So I understand that it is like much more cost at one time. But yeah, great tips,
A
guys.
good point
I
on the
love it.
fact that if you do have 6 sets, they are going to last longer because you aren't using the same one. When I managed another company only on e-filing, we also used to say don't throw away those dull sets, because if you're using, say, a medium carbide, which our Speedy basically is a medium carbide, and you need a smooth carbide, you could actually save one of your older dull Speedies for smooth work versus ripping it off quick work. But you got to mark them. We used to use color gel and mark the shank to know, is this one of my freshies or is it a used one? Anybody else have any more questions? I don't. Oh, Autumn Lane Beauty. That's up to each distributor. She's asking if all the distributors are going to run a Black Friday deal. I don't know if it's a global thing too. In the United States, Black Friday is a big thing. I don't know what it is for all the other countries. So yeah, check with your local distributor. I don't have any other questions, just a lot of comments.
Thank you, Claire, also for mentioning a dust extractor. It's very important. I worked years without one, and now I will not ever use one. I will
Mm,
continue to use one for the rest of my career. So just get a good one.
same.
I have it built into my table, so it's flush. I'm not trying to maneuver around it. It's just
Mhm.
there. Keep the filter clean. Keep buying a new filter for it, and you'll be good.
Yep.
That's good advice. We did have somebody ask earlier, would Ellie ever get a dust extractor? And Jim's talents are in creating products, and equipment isn't as, I mean, it's important, but it's not so brand important, right? So I basically said in the chat, just find a really good dust extractor that has a filter and is quick and easy to clean. And of course has good suction, and you should be okay. Or in sound, sometimes people complain they're too loud, so also you want to check for sound. You're getting thank yous now. Thank you. Katie says, thank you so much, Claire. Appreciate all the info. I
Thank you
told you
guys
all
for
our
being
people in
on.
here are so warm and fuzzy. I love our group.
I do too.
Yeah. Well, I think that's all we have for today. Thank you so much, Claire. You did amazing as always.
Oh, thank you, my dear. Thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you all for tuning in. Hope to see you next week or at the next ones. Everybody take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.